Chat. Are we live? YouTube. Please work. YouTube, are you working? Yep, it says we're live, I think, right? Yeah. What is up, people? The internet, it is me, Real American, back in with a new stream, and that is right. We're live on this beautiful February 5th, 2026. I hope everyone's having a great day. I'm having a great day myself. And we're joined by nobody right now. That's going to probably change in a little bit, but for now, it's just me. I hope everyone's having a great day. We have a lot to talk about. Got to talk about Trump's interview at NBC News yesterday. Got to talk about a lot of people panicking about it, a lot of people losing their minds over it because he said some stuff that, made some people upset. So lots going on. Before we get into today's stream, don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends, and of course, join the channel today. These are all great ways to support the daily content. And if you do have any questions or concerns or want to support the channel even further, the best way is sending super chats via the chat. Again, I shall read through as much of chat as possible, but usually super chats are the best way to get your questions answered. Spikes has been a member for 30 months. Thank you so much, good sir. The Texas Senate primary is a shit show. Yeah, it is on both sides. The Democrat side, it's Telrico versus Crockett. I think Crockett's going to win the primary now. It's a shit show and a half. It's a mess. Telrico's a dumbass for saying that stuff about Ulvred. So yeah, I do think at the end of the day, Crockett is probably the favorite. As for the Republican side, I think Cornyn's done. The only thing that could save Cornyn at this point is a Trump endorsement, and even then, that might be pushing it. I mean, there's a poll that came out today from Jail Partners, and they have Cornyn in third place. So yeah, and there's runoffs in Texas, so there probably will be a runoff in the Republican side. So yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to see what happens. President Gilbert Giddy up for 2. Late Brazilian politics. Yeah, I'm late. Sorry, I'm late by a minute. Gee, it's the end of the world. All right, we have a lot to talk about. I don't know what we should start with. A lot to talk about. Yeah, I think it's time we talk about the kind of the main story of the day. That is, of course, Orange Man himself. Let me pull up the poll for a second because this whole stuff really started earlier last night, but it kind of went off the rails this morning. So for those that don't know, Mark Mitchell, he is the lead pollster at the Rasmussen Reports. They're a very good pollster. And, well, you see they came out with this poll right here. Mark Mitchell, the head of Rasmussen Reports, found that Trump's approval is now at 41%. Yeah. 41%, not 43 or 45 or 48. He is down to 41% according to the Daily Tracker. And let's be clear about this. Rasmussen Reports is a good pollster. They are. The problem is the Daily Trackers they tend to have bizarre swings like this. But what's going on right now is becoming a problem because it's not just like a big shift one day and the next day it swings. No, this has been a consistent trend for the last couple of days. And he's now down to 41% approve. That is the lowest it's been since I think December of 2018 for Rasmussen. It's been a long time since it's been that low. So, and a lot of people are panicking about this because, Rasmussen Reports are a good pollster and other pollsters that used to be respectable, like People's Pundit, they're showing Trump is going down even further. But like I said, they used to be respected, but now it's just a freaking joke. And I do want to talk about what's really going on with Trump's administration, the approval, and what's causing this. Because a lot of people are just doom and gloom about the stuff. And let's be clear, Trump said some dumb stuff on that interview last night on NBC News. First of all, why are you doing an interview with NBC News? I know they're hosting the Super Bowl. That's kind of tradition where the president goes on the network that's hosting the Super Bowl. I get that. But my question is, why would you even do that interview in the first place? And listen, we're talking about Trump. He says shit that he doesn't actually mean, but some of the stuff he did say in the interview, it's very hard to defend. It's very hard to defend some of the stuff he said last night. Not all of it. There was clearly a psyop going on that's been there's been a psyop going for a while, but I think we got to talk about the interview itself because President Trump, he said some things that made some people upset. Let me pull this up. Namely what he said about Bill Clinton. And listen, the issue isn't like I don't know. You could say a million different things, but the way he said it is just stupid. President Gilbert Giddy up for 5. Honestly, for the Texas Democrat primary, I think Tellerico will win. Why? Democrat voters, especially white voters, like saying the nuclear word now. That is true. I mean, that is a good point, but I still think Tellerico is going to lose now. He pissed off the base with Democrats in Texas. You're not going to win. That's just, if you're losing black voters by like 90%, or not, maybe not 90%, but it's going to be a big margin, especially in Texas. You can't afford that. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But okay. We got to talk about what Trump said about Bill Clinton. And listen, we're talking about Trump after all. He says weird shit all the time. Everybody knows this. But yeah, right here. President Trump says it bothers me that they're going after Bill Clinton. I like Bill Clinton. And the reporter asked, what do you like about him? And Trump said he got me, he understood me. Yeah. This is a real thing he said. Now, let's be clear about one thing. The issue is that he said like he's fine with Bill Clinton. It's just the current context of things going on right now. For crying out loud, back in 2016, remember what Trump did during the debate? Did everybody forget about this? Where he brought Bill Clinton's accusers on stage for the debate? And Bill Clinton was like a deer in front of headlights. He was just like stunned. But like the issue isn't that he said like, I have nothing against Clinton, but it just seems kind of like a reversal from 2016 where he's like, see, I got Bill Clinton's accusers right here. And they did some horrible stuff to him or her. So that's really the issue. And then you got the Epstein stuff, which kind of confirms that, yeah, Clinton's was involved with Epstein's shit. And listen, we don't know to what extent that is the issue. We don't know to what extent was Clinton involved. He obviously was close. It's clear as day now. But we don't know for sure if that's like involved with some of the stuff that Epstein was doing. We don't know. But still, it's just not a good thing to say right now. That's the issue here. It's not that he said it like once 5 years ago. It's the fact that he's saying it right after the Epstein stuff dropped. A lot of people on the right are pissed off about it. There's a lot of schizophrenics running around. The current narrative is the Trump admin, they're covering it up. The Epstein files prove everything, even though you look at the files and they don't show anything worth a damn, except the emails, and we'll get to that in a second. But it just the way he said this, that's really the problem here. That is the problem. So, yeah. I'm honestly sick and tired of the Epstein files. I think a lot of people are. They don't want to admit it, but guys, let's cut the shit. If you actually read the files, there's nothing there. I would argue the only thing worth a damn are the emails, because this other anonymous tip shit, it's not worth looking at because it just says wild stuff. Everybody's seen the emails or the files by now. They're claiming that like, oh guys, they buried a body underneath the golf course that didn't even exist 20 years ago. It's crazy stuff like that. They make it sound like mustache twirling stuff, and it came after 2020. These tips came in. So listen, there's a lot of shit that's in the files that are just completely fake. But a certain crowd of people, they're running with this idea that, oh, guys, everything in the files are gospel. It says one thing, it's real. No, these are anonymous tips. That does not mean squat. And if we're going to do this logic that everything in the files are real, the files themselves say that these anonymous tips are mostly bullshit. They're fake. They're complete horse shit. They're not based on anything real. So, yeah. American Nerd for 10. Updated the Artemis. How do you say it? Artemis 2? I think, is that how you say it? I think. The launch has now been pushed to no later than March 6th. After during a dress rehearsal of the launch, they found a liquid hydrogen leak along with some minor issues. Well, it's good that they're delaying it then. You don't want another challenger happening. So we're going to stream that when they do launch. We are going to stream that. So I want to start doing more space stuff when they start like launching stuff in the space. I think it's cool to watch, but oh, John Willard for 2. Orange Blob is in the files who should be arrested. Yeah, real. American Nerd for 2. That's odd, but it's not the end of MAGA, hopefully. Well, I don't think it is, but some people are pushing poor shit. But yeah, again, guys, the problem with what Trump said to Bill Clinton, I think this is really the only thing that was really objectively shitty of him to say last night. Because it's just the timing of it is so bad. Don't say this when people are convinced Bill Clinton did stuff, and who knows at this point. Don't say that. Because if it comes out that he actually did some horrible stuff on the island, well, this is going to age poorly. That's really the problem. But outside of that, the interview was fine. Trump did say some vague stuff. You know, it's not perfect, but my goodness, the response this interview has had from some people, it's just batshit crazy. People forget about this shit in a week. Oh yeah, I agree that it will. People forget about this. They should, but I'm just saying, like, the timing of it's not good. Like, if this was 2 months ago, fine, but right now, yeah, that's the issue. Just the timing of it is so bad. You don't want to say this stuff now. Other stuff he said also wasn't good. So, yeah, the Rob Reiner comments, that's a good point. Everybody forgot about that. Remember, I think it was like Mark Mitchell or something, maybe not, but it was somebody like that said, guys, it's over. Rob Reiner died. Trump said something dumb, and like half of his voters hate him now. Yeah, sure. That's a good point. I mean, it's one of those things that's probably gonna go away soon, but just it's unnecessary crap to do right now. That's the whole point. Did you see Epstein liked a certain type of corn? Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. I hope we get some progress towards Mars. Yeah, it's been kind of quiet on that front. I think they're still planning by 2030, I think. So, yeah, we'll see. But outside of this part of the Bill Clinton thing, I didn't really have that big of a problem with the interview. I didn't watch the whole thing 100%, but based on what I've seen, it's just kind of the same stuff Trump's been saying for a while. But this oddly enough wasn't the thing that pissed people off the most. I would argue it is, because it's just bad timing. It looks bad. Not a good thing to say right now. There's ways to say it that's better, but either way, the point is, this is somehow not the thing people are talking about, which is crazy. They're talking about what he said about immigration. Because if you don't know what he said, Trump said, like, he was asked about the Minneapolis operation and will they go to Democrat cities? Are they changing the plans? And Trump, he does this all the time where he answers the question, but then like changes subjects in the middle of it and you don't know what he's talking about. And he did the same thing last night. This clip right here has gone crazy viral because basically what he said was, or he was asked, are they changing stuff up after the Minneapolis stuff? And he said a weird thing. He just changed the question in the middle of the answer. It's a weird thing he did. And he said, we're going to only go to cities if the mayors and governors ask and say please, adding that I don't want to go and force ourselves into a city, even if their numbers are terrible. Now, they were asked about immigration. That's why people thought he's talking about immigration enforcement. People were thinking, oh my gosh, it's over. They're going to stop the operations in places like California, Minnesota, and only focus in Republican states. And that's why people are losing it. That's what Trump said. Yeah, you should be pissed off about that. Because guess what? The problem is with Democrat states, obviously. Like, God knows how many illegal immigrants are in California or New York. God knows. Or Illinois. It's a number you probably don't want to know. But at the same time, that's not what Trump was talking about, because if you notice what he says, he's talking about crime. not immigration enforcement. He does this all the time where he's asked a question, but in the middle of his answer, he like changes the subject. But you can't really tell. But you listen carefully. You you look at or hear what he says. He's talking about crime. And he specifically mentions Memphis, New Orleans, DC. Now, there's been some ICE operations in these cities, but he's clearly referring to the National Guard when it comes to crime, because these are areas he sent the National Guard into in the last couple of weeks. And rapid response to the White House, they confirmed this. They said, this is total fake news bullshit. President Trump is talking about National Guard deployments for crime reduction, like the highly successful operations in New Orleans, Memphis, DC, where they were welcomed by their leaders. This has nothing to do with mass deportations. So, yeah. This is the thing with Trump, okay? He does this all the time, and I agree. It's been my biggest issue with them. He says the dumbest of shit at times. Let's cut the crap. We love Trump here, but my gosh, he says stuff that people get upset about, people lose their minds over, and they say it's all over, but then they clarify, oh no, he's not talking about ICE agents. He's talking about the National Guard. That's what he's referring to. And you listen to what he says, yeah, he is talking about the National Guard. It's, again, he says weird stuff. He just changes the subject in the middle of the answer, but that's what he's talking about here. He is talking about the National Guard, and the White House confirmed that. So, yeah. American Nerd for 2, does Trump just say stuff to throw the left off? I think, okay, there's two reasons why Trump says the stuff he says sometimes. One, I think Trump is still trying to be liked by everybody. Like, this is the thing with Trump. He goes through these weird stretches where he wants to be loved by everybody, which I guess that's what everybody wants. But problem is, half the country hates his guts, with a good chunk of that half wanting him dead. And the Trump just still thinks, oh, if he, works with Democrats and some stuff and say nice things, they're going to eventually say we love him. No. That's the problem that we have with Trump, that he says stuff like that because he wants to be liked by everybody. And at the same time, he understands that there is a narrative war going on right now. So he thinks, well, if we say this, that's going to stop the people from losing their minds over ICE agents deporting people. When in reality, no, that's going to piss off the base even further. And that's what happened. That's what Trump does. He tries to appease everybody, and he thinks he's doing the right thing with messaging, trying to change the subject. And there are ways to do this. I'm not denying that. There are ways to say, like, hey, we're going to target the worst of the worst. Target the murderers, the rapists, the pedophiles, like target them. But don't say like, oh, we might pull back out of some cities, because people take that as, well, you're backing off on immigration enforcement. That's what thing's going on here. And I think that's always been the issue with Trump. He tries to be loved by everybody, and they kiss his ass behind the scenes, but in reality, they hate his guts. So that's the problem here. He needs to realize these liberals will never like him, even if he gets, even if he gives a free cure for cancer. Yeah, I wish Trump would understand that, but it's still, that's Trump. He is somebody that if you kiss his ass enough, he'll listen to you, and that's a problem. Like, you got to give him tough love, but there are people in the administration right now that are, yes, they're pushing bullshit on purpose. They're saying everything's perfectly fine. You're at a 70% approval. It's all over, but everybody knows that's bullshit. I don't think it's as bad as some people claim it is, but yeah. If he needs to realize, read that already. I think I did not miss any super chats. No, I didn't. Okay, good. Yeah, I think the problem with Trump. He just still thinks that if he does the right thing, these people love him. He wants to be seen as, like, I don't know, like a very popular president. Like, I don't know, name one. Name a very popular president. So, yeah. That's the issue. He's behind the 8 ball. I agree. That's the problem with Trump. He's still behind the 8 ball on some stuff. He's got it better, but it's stuff like this that does piss people off. And when you have these people that are purposely pushing horse shit, let's cut the crap. That's what's going on here. You have certain influencers running around and saying, Trump is about to force through amnesty. It's all over. He's worse than Biden. I'm not even joking. You think I'm exaggerating? Look at this shit. This is David Giglio, and I used to defend this guy a lot. This whole crowd I used to defend. But look at this shit. This is what we're dealing with now. This is what Giglio is saying now. This is a problem that we have to deal with. He is claiming that at least Biden did what he promised. Granted, it was all evil and bad, but he stayed the course. This isn't yesteryear. Americans no longer have the stomach for rug pulling. So he is implying that Biden is better than Trump because he did what he promised. Really? This is the slop that we're dealing with here. I don't give a shit if you hate Trump or not. It doesn't matter. To say that at least defend Biden because he did what he promised to do. Really? So wait a minute, whose fault is it for the 20 million illegal immigrants? Is it Trump's fault? Really? But like, I don't get this logic. Like, who do you appease to? Well, like when you do shit like this, who do you appease by saying stuff like this? Biden broke virtually all of his promises. Yeah. Remember a lot of the shit he said he wasn't going to do, he did. It's horse shit. It's a scam. These people are trying to say, oh, Biden did what he promised. It was evil, but he did what he said he was going to do. Really? This is what we're dealing with here. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Dan Bongino's right. You have influencers like this running around promoting horse shit like this because it's a demoralization campaign. That's what this is. They're trying to demoralize everybody with stuff that doesn't make any sense. Why do you mention this? Oh, because Mark Mitchell claimed that people think Biden was a better president than Trump. Really? Does nobody see the issue with this logic that Biden was a better president? Why do people think that? Why? Why do people think Biden was better than Trump? And I hope that a certain pollster like Quantus Insights polls this, but I'm very curious. Are these influencers convincing people Trump's bad? I hope they poll this. I asked somebody about it because I'm getting sick and tired of this shit. Because I want to know, why is Trump doing so bad with certain voters? Again, part of it is because, yes, Trump's done some bad stuff. He said some dumb stuff. And in some areas, they have not gone far enough. I'm not denying that. Like, I understand that to a point. But who's convincing these voters that Biden was a better president than Trump? Who? I guarantee you the majority of people that are supported Trump in 2024 and say he's worse than Biden, I guarantee you nearly every single one of them believe this horse shit because they trust these influencers because they built years worth of trust up, but now they're wasting it on this crap. It's crazy. But he's trying to defend this reasoning. Well, Biden promised what he said he was going to do. And Trump hasn't. K Cup for 5. If Joe Biden was a better president, then why the fuck did America elect Trump back into the office instead of electing Biden's right-hand woman? Yeah. Again, they don't directly say it. Like, oh, he's not better than Biden. Or he's not better than Trump. But at least he did what he promised to do. Seriously. He broke many promises. Stop the bullshit. You talk about trying to change a narrative and trying to lie to people. Stuff like this is a lie. It's bullshit. It's complete horse shit. And people are buying it because they built trust up for the last 10 years or whatever, and now they're wasting it. They're worse than mainstream media because at least with mainstream media, it's all horse shit. You don't just blindly follow Sean Hannity off a cliff. You fact check him on everything, but you don't do the same thing with influencers that you trust. It's insane. Yeah, I'm starting to wonder. They're upset because Trump did not endorse them. Yeah. It's pettiness. It's bullshit like that. That's why they're mad with them. with Trump and the administration. I'm not even defending Trump with everything. There's some stuff he did that was bad. Like the Epstein files, you could argue maybe in hindsight he was partially right, but just release the emails. If you don't want to release the schizophrenic stuff, fine. But if you would have just released all those emails right away, nobody would give a shit. Nobody would give a shit. But now people are convinced that, oh, it's all a secret conspiracy. And the same morons are pushing the same bullshit, even though the files themselves tell you that these anonymous tips are horseshit. They ignore that. They say that's a cover-up, but oh, this anonymous tip is real. It's horseshit. I'm getting sick of it. It's a giant scam. Yeah, Kirk was the dam that kept the influencer flood from running rampage. Yeah, because Kirk was the only one that understood, like, hey, not everything is perfect with Trump, but he understood how to communicate with Trump, how to deal with these influencers. But now that he's gone, we don't got that pipeline where Kirk is able to unite people. Like, hey, we can focus on this one issue. And speaking of that, all these people, they claim to be like best friends with Kirk and, you know, they're best friends with him. They love him. My question is this: would Kirk love what's happening right now? Seriously. Again, I never got to meet Kirk or whatever, but honestly, would Kirk be happy with what's going on right now with these people? Seriously? Talking about, oh, we gotta redo the 24 election. I'm not even joking. Let me pull up what he said. Let me pull up what he said, because this is what we're dealing with here. I can't find it. Oh well. Josh for 5. At this point, these people want to lose because they are grifters and they like being the minority and complain. Yeah. They want to be in the minority. SoCal Loom for 2. Trump was right that Republicans wouldn't know how to win. Yeah. Again, being critical of Trump, that's not the problem. People say I'm a cultist or whatever. I'm not. Hell, I was the first one publicly to call for Pam Bondi to get fired back in March of last year, in February. And I got a lot of shit for that. And I was right. I'm like, she's got it better, but still. I realized there's obviously a psyop going on right now. It's clear. American Nerd for 2. Files were old Bonnie's fault by running her mouth. Yeah. That's the issue. The messaging with the administration, I agree, is bad. It is awful at times. It's gotten slightly better recently, but man, at times it's like, what are you talking about? What are you doing? And I understand that. Fine. Fix the messaging. That's a serious issue. I'm not denying that. But this other nonsense about freaking, Trump is bad because Biden accomplished everything he wanted to do. Seriously. Yeah, Kirk would have not been happy with what's going on. In fact, he would have called a lot of people out by now. Hell, it would have never gotten to this point. Kirk was the only one, and I can't believe, like, he really was the only one holding back the insanity. He pushed back on the bullshit. He kept people halfway sane. That is just shocking to realize. He was that influential, and hold on. We have Will Stancil himself joining.
I'm just popping in for a couple minutes. So what are you talking about right now?
We're talking about the influencers being influencers, like usual.
Yeah. Which, well, I mean, I'm a travel influencer. You might.
Well, we're more so talking about like the David Giglios saying, "Oh, guys, Biden's better because he did what he promised to do." Shit like that.
I didn't know perennial congressional meme candidates are counted as influencers now,
that whole crowd is. I consider them be, but
I guess. Yeah, Giglio. I mean, what's Giglio been saying recently?
He said, this is a real quote, that at least Biden did what he promised to do.
Bro.
First of all, he didn't. He lied about a bunch of stuff. That's the first thing. And secondly, like, they're trying to build a credibility that, oh, guys, Biden wasn't that bad. You got to vote Democrat like for Ro Khanna. That's what's going to happen. Watch. These hacks later this year, if they don't get their shit together now, watch. They're going to say, well, Democrats keep their promises. You should vote for them. Watch. That's what they're going to say. And vote for people like Ro Khanna. Because Epstein. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Yeah. That's what they're going to push.
Yeah, it is. And what's I was listening to your show like a little bit ago at the beginning, and you were talking about Mark Mitchell. Bro, what is his daily tracker? Because I saw his like official poll the other day had like Trump at like only -5,
Yeah.
but like somehow like in 2 days it dropped. Like those daily trackers suck. I frankly don't even really trust weekly trackers from like Morning Consult, because it's just like it's too quick of a time span. You need longer times to pull these things. So I'm not necessarily just going to believe you. Same with YouGov, though. The YouGov poll this week was actually pretty decent for us. I mean, Trump's approval went up a bit. We gained in the generic ballot. But overall, I still don't think you should trust these weekly trackers. Even
Yeah.
I think you have
Well,
to wait for like you have to see if there's a consistent trend, then you can trust them. But outside of that, not really.
well, again, like the problem with daily trackers, and I do think the Epstein files dropped that did like hurt Trump a little bit, especially the young people. I'm not denying that. But the issue though
Yeah.
is like this whole thing is just getting ridiculous. It's just getting more insane by the second.
Yeah,
President
it's
Gil-
just like the
oh, God.
crosstabs are insane too because some polls have Trump like doing pretty good with Hispanics, and then others have them like at like 10% with Hispanics. So you really don't know with that demographic either. But I think it's pretty clear they have swung back to Trump.
Yeah.
Um, but it's bad shit.
I thought Rokana was one of the Democrats who was sometimes respectable. Yeah, but guys, you remember they were actually trying to build this up last year, right before Kirk died. Remember, you had people like Robert Barnes and Rich Bears talking about, oh, Rokana's better than the average Republican. We got to start a populist movement with populist Democrats. Remember that? Then Kirk got
Mm-hmm.
shot, and they stopped that. The same thing's going to happen. That's what they're pumping. They're pumping the bullshit populist Democrat crap. It's going to happen. All because of just insanity. Stuff that's not even real. Again, Trump's not perfect. How many times am I going to say this? I've been critical of Trump on a lot of stuff. That does not
Mm-hmm.
mean that every single thing he does is bad or not good. It's just insane. You have people
He's
compl-
terrible. He's a socialist.
Yeah. President Gilbert
I
Giddy up for
guess.
President Gilbert Giddy up for 5. Kirk would not be happy about the random conspiracy theories. Doing all the time. It's someone like Ben Shapiro to think he's the head of the movement. Yeah. Kirk would just be like just cringing to disgust right now if you saw
Yeah.
what's going on. And all these people are supposedly friends were friends with him. Yeah, sure. Josh for 5. Even some of these influencers attacked Kirk when he was alive. Yeah. It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
These people just like they pretend to be best friends with him. Again, I'm not saying I knew Kirk or whatever, but do you really think he would be liking what he sees right now with these people? Would he really?
He wouldn't. I say that as someone who knows people very close to him. But anyways, it was nice being on. I do gotta crash out, but before I do, I hope you get over your sickness rep. I know it's been going around. Hoping you get over that. And also, I gotta say, please subscribe to Great Lake Politics. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Look. We want to get to 1,000 subs before the Texas primary. That's what we want to see. We're at like 540 right now, but we're like gaining very quickly. So everyone, when you're done watching the stream, watch this stream, but go sub to my channel and tune in tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. We'll be going over today's news with some familiar faces. So
Yeah.
stay tuned. But anyways, gotta crash out.
All right, see ya. Okay, Josh for 5. Even some yeah, I've read that already. Conservative millennial for 5. Stephen Chan serves as a White House comms director, worked as a spokesperson for USC since 2016. We need someone new, message is not good. Who would you get? Um, really, I mean, I like Stephen Chan. I think he say his name. I think he's a good guy, but like you got to change something up at the White House. I agree with that. There's messaging that's a problem. It's not good, but yeah, I do think you got to just get somebody different. Maybe I don't know. I don't actually know. The same influencers who claim they're totally following Kirk's legacy are the same ones who hated Kirk and attacked him. Yeah, and even the ones that didn't, they're just pissing on his legacy. They don't care. They don't care. Alex Jones. I wouldn't go that far, but you gotta get somebody different there. There's always some like good I don't know actually. Somebody that has good messaging. Somebody think of somebody. I don't know. Hair app. Hold on. No, I'm not. How about Erica Kirk for White House comms director? No, she's running TPUSA. She's just gonna run TPUSA. That's about it. Okay, we gotta talk about the other stuff because listen, we have been shitting on Pam Bondi a lot. But I will say this: Pam Bondi in the last couple of weeks has been passable as Attorney General. Not perfect, but listen, we still are not fans of Pam Bondi here. But I do think the memo a couple weeks ago about Trump out to fire Pam Bondi was real. Because ever since then, magically, we have Pam Bondi doing stuff. Yeah. So it was announced earlier today that the DOJ with ICE and HSI arrested a self-identified anti-ICE Antifa terrorist. And this is not case running around telling people to go like do stuff to ICE officers and stuff. And people were asking, where's the charges at? When are they going to arrest him? And they did. They officially arrested him earlier today. And Pam Bondi said, if you come for law enforcement, the Trump admin will come for you. Thank you to our outstanding agents for executing yet another arrest, this time an Antifa domestic terrorist. So yeah, they actually got the scumbag on charges. They've actually been doing quite a bit in Minneapolis. Like, you look at what's going on in Minneapolis, they're actually arresting people. Not just one person. They indicted like 9 people so far. They've indicted a bunch of other people for targeting ICE officers. I'm shocked. She's actually been doing a halfway decent job. Is it everything we wanted? Of course not. And that's the issue people have. You can't point out an objectively good thing like this, which it is. This is objectively good that Pam Bondi, the DOJ, they're going after these nutcases. That is objectively good. But you point it out and people say, well, Epstein. That's a problem with the right. You say something that's good that they did. We get a win. We're going after these scumbags finally. We finally got a judge to sign off on stuff for a grand jury. Finally got something going. And instead of taking the win, we're bitching about Epstein or freaking Doge or whatever. It's just insane. I still want people arrested for the RICO charges with Charlie Kirk's death. Which is still ongoing, by the way. I can confirm that. They're still working on the RICO charges. It just, RICO cases take a long time, blah, blah, blah. We get the point. But immediately people are bitching about, well, what about Epstein? You have not arrested the people in the Epstein files yet. Which, I still have this question. Can anybody point to me in the files a legitimate piece of evidence of somebody committing a crime? And what crime did they commit? I'm still waiting. I've asked 20 people now, and not a single person, way more. I've asked anybody, name one. Not some anonymous tip bullshit. Name one actual thing in the files that prove a crime was committed. Anywhere. And not a single person has said anything. They just said, well, they're all guilty by association. No, they're not. Yes, it's bad they were involved with Epstein. They knew Epstein. They talked to him. That does not mean they committed a crime. There's nothing there. Nothing. Just anonymous tips and schizophrenics lying about shit. That's what's going on. There is nothing. And I've asked many people, name one thing. And they just point to the same regurgitated crap. They just regurgitate the same shit over and over again. Oh, this anonymous source says this. It's an anonymous source that the files themselves say it's horseshit. It's fake. It's based on it, nothing real. Yet 20,000 people like it within 5 minutes on Twitter and stuff. And it's real. I mean, even the Bill Gates stuff, that doesn't really prove anything. Now, It does prove he probably got STDs or whatever, but that's about it. It doesn't really explicitly mention any crimes. That's the issue here. That's the whole problem. You don't see anything in the files that really point to a specific crime being committed. I do agree, though. People should be investigated, like Bill Gates, like even Howard Lutnick, Steve Bannon. They should all be investigated. Why was Steve Bannon talking to Epstein months before he got killed? Why? Same thing with, like, why was Howard Lutnick lying about last time we talked to Epstein? He said he talked to him last in like 2005 or whatever, and it comes out he was talking to him in like 2014. Why? It's sketchy. Those are serious issues. I'm not denying that. But this other nonsense is just insane. America noted for 6. If this keeps up, maybe Pam Bondi could stay for a bit longer, preferably until the midterms are over with. After that, we can replace her with Bailey or Ramirez. I agree. Yeah, just because you talked to someone does not mean you committed a crime. Yeah. That's not a crime, but Howard is looking sus. Oh, I agree. That is very suspicious. Why do you say on a podcast that a million people watched, or millions of people, you explicitly said the last time you talked to Epstein was like 10 years before he died or whatever, because you thought he was a creep. But it comes out the emails, you're talking to him in 2017, or not 2017, like 2014. Why? That's not a crime, but I agree. There should be an investigation, and Lutnick should tell why was he mentioned that files that late? What was going on there? American Nerd for 2. Who would be a good replacement for Lutnick? I don't know. It's Commerce Secretary is kind of a weird one. Somebody involved with business, probably, but I don't know. Don't know. If Pam Bondi truly is becoming incompetent, do you think that Andrew Bailey and Jason Ramirez could be great potential replacements for Thomas and Alito? Maybe. Lutnick clearly had a house right next to Epstein. Yeah, that's always been sketchy. It's like, why? What's going on there? That is something people aren't talking about. Isn't that weird, by the way? They're talking more about H.W. Bush doing a sacrificial ritual, excuse me, but they're not talking about, hey, why is Lutnick mentioned in 2015? And he's like talking with Epstein. What's going on there? Or Steve Bannon in 2019? What's going on there? That is a serious question. Again, not a crime, but like, yeah, I agree. He should answer for that. Why were they talking to that late? And you notice nobody's mentioned Steve Bannon. This crowd of people, they've mentioned nothing about him, which is strange. Why was he doing an interview that late? Why? Yeah, it's sketchy. Jason Ramirez would be a great DHS secretary, maybe. But I don't know, like, I still think Bonnie's got to go for Bailey or Ramirez, but, you know, if she continues getting better, I don't care. Just, you got to actually arrest people. That's what people want to see. People want to see arrests for something, major ones. They made good progress. They went after Don Lemon and others. That's good. But I do agree. People want to see a big name. Just somebody be held accountable for the last 20 years of this shit. I agree with that 100%. I thought the left hates Bannon. Yeah, but nobody's mentioned it, even on the right, which is weird. These same influencers who all love Bannon, they're not mentioning anything. Nothing. Let's see. Bonnie does need to go. I agree. 100%. Star Wars in hot water due to stuff related to Epstein. I saw that. Yeah. He might resign. We'll see. That'll be funny because reform's going to kick ass in a couple years. It's going to happen. Bannon's a weirdo for giving Epstein any remotely positive press. By the way, Bannon's show is pushing the narrative Trump caved on Minnesota and others. He's an effing clown. Yeah, I mean, it's very sketchy. And guys, you notice? You know where all these influencers come from, at least on the right, who they're affiliated with? There's 3 people they're basically all have connections with. Take a guess who? Steve Bannon, MTG, and Thomas Massie. Nearly every single one has deep ties to at least one of the three, or all three of them. Huh. Strange, isn't it? American Order for 6. How about Robert Lightzer? Trump's former trade representative in term 1. He's pretty good at trade. I think he'll be good in commerce. I have no clue who that is. No, it's Steve Bannon, Thomas Massie, and MTG. I'm not even joking. And you can look this up, and I've been looking more into it. These people began to turn on Trump right after he attacked Massie. And right after, behind the scenes, Trump told MTG he will not support her for Senate. That's when these people magically all begin to turn on him. Gee, I wonder why. I wonder what happened there. Now, does this mean they're all involved? I'm not saying that, but it's very sketchy. Very sketchy how all three of them, everybody's connections with them. One of those three, most of them, I should say. Very weird. And it was right after Trump attacked Massie. That's when these people turned on him. Same with MTG. And never attack him. Never attack MTG. It was after he told her privately she can't win. That's all he told her. And that's also when magically the Doge stuff fell apart in the Congress. Look that one up. Yeah, it's bad. Did he see that? Apparently, there's a poll that shows Bill Cassidy losing. It's his own pollster, piece of shit strategies. It literally has him losing. His own pollster. I gotta find that poll. Hold on. Bill Cassidy poll. I mean, guys, he's done. Bill Cassidy is screwed. Yeah, right here. This is his own pollster, piece of shit strategies. Look at that. Ludlow's up by 6 from one of the worst Republican pollsters out there. This is a DeSantis pollster. Remember, they're the same crowd of people that said, oh, DeSantis is surging in Iowa. He's going to win at any time now. He's going to win it by 30 points. Oh, the secret the caucus cards or whatever. It's all over for Trump. Yeah, the same pollster, piece of shit strategies is back. I know it's public opinion strategies, but I find it funny. Just piece of shit strategies. I love saying that. Yeah, this is real. This was a real poll, and he's down by 6. It's over. He's going to get obliterated. Guys, if Cassidy is going down, what do you think's going to happen in Kentucky with Thomas Massie? I'm not saying it's going to be like Liz Cheney margins, but guys, I'm kind of scared to see what happens. If Thomas Massie does lose by a decent margin, how do these people respond? These people convince themselves that Thomas Massie's going to win in a landslide. Could he potentially? I guess maybe. Who knows? But they have convinced themselves that they're going to win by a historic margin. They have convinced themselves. I'm kind of scared how these people react. If he loses by like 20 points, what do they do? What does he do, for crying out loud? Because they have gaslit themselves into thinking they're going to win by a huge margin. They're delusional. They really think, oh, Thomas Massie's more beloved than Trump is. That election, in my opinion, is going to be a great indicator to see how much of the online right is full of shit. Joseph for 5. Trump should primary the Freedom Caucus as well to keep them in line, be and help out our majority going forward and help the MAGA movement. I agree. If you're shit, get rid of them. But you gotta be careful because you got a small majority and you don't want any more Thomas Massies or MTGs. They're gonna say Israel rigged the election. I don't know how they're gonna respond. But listen to these people. Go listen to what Robert Barnes said a couple days ago. He has convinced himself that Massie's going to win by a huge margin. And that, oh, Trump is deluding himself into thinking Massie's going to lose. There's polls for the congressional district having Massey below water by 30 points. It's done. He's gonna, not a guarantee he loses, I guess, but he's probably gonna lose. It's just insane. He loses by 67. Yeah. I don't think it's your Liz Cheney margin. It'd be hilarious if it was, but what are we doing here? Like, these people are just delusional. They've actually convinced themselves that Thomas Massey is this secretly super popular person. Maybe does better than Liz Cheney. Fine. So we'll see. We shall see. Sad part is anything can happen in Texas. I think Corden loses. Whether it's Wesley Hunt or Ken Paxton to be determined, but they're both upgrades. I think Trump's just going to stay out of the race. He's going to stay out of it completely. Thomas Massey's losing by 30% against any Republican. Yeah, these people don't really understand that the average Trump voter does not give a shit about this stuff. I think, there are some that are unhappy about it, sure. But, like, do you really think in rural Kentucky, these Trump voters are going to, like, they're going to turn on Trump because Epstein? Really? I don't know. We'll see. They'll blame the Egyptian Israeli beehive cult. That's real. But that's what this crowd is turning into. They're all turning slowly to Candace Owens. Every single one of them. They're slowly turning to Candace Owens. Remember when people were crying up Trump was not endorsing anyone in Louisiana? Yeah, I remember that well. And not a single person said anything about this. And hold up. We actually have somebody that just joined the stream. Hold on. Let me get Discord to work. It is Mr. Real Texan Politics. Hello. Hold on. Let me fix this. Give me a second. Yep. Give me a second. There we go. Say something now.
Yes, hello.
Hello. So, yeah, we were just talking about the Thomas Massey primary. How he's gonna probably lose.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious.
No, but according to people like influencers, he's gonna win by 30 points.
No.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's gonna happen. But okay, so we talked about Louisiana. Bill Cassidy is just screwed at this point. His own eternal has him losing. We talked about the Trump thing last night. And by the way, real text, what are your thoughts on what Trump said last night? Like the immigration thing.
What was it really? It was actually about like the
The National Guard.
was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be a lot harder to get the National Guard in the cities now, but we'll see.
Well, like
A lot of the mayors want to be, they want to stand up to him.
yeah. But like I'm glad it was with the National Guard because like again, it's Trump. You don't know what he's actually saying, but the White House confirmed it was the National Guard. Now, will these people stop bitching about it now, right? Shirley?
Well, we've got a couple of former congressional candidates on our side that seem to really not like him anymore.
No, they've lost it. Yeah, we talked about that. I talked what David Giglio said. Who's the other one you're talking about?
Sabatini.
Oh, yeah, he's lost it. I have no clue what happened to that guy. You talk with schizophrenic. I mean, listen. I am not even like Randy Fine. I get the Israeli thing's bad. Like the foreign policy stuff, he's awful in foreign policy. I get that. But the dude is trying to ban Sharia law in America. And you're going to attack him for Israel? Are you serious for that?
Well, he's also endorsed Fishback for governor, so
Yeah.
those kind of line up. Also, did he talk about the Colton Moore thing in Georgia?
No, but I was about to get to that. But yeah, like for those that don't know, Randy Fine, who again he is one of the funniest characters in the Congress because he should have foreign policy, but actually pretty good at everything else. Not for the right reason, but like, hey, he wants to ban immigration for crying out loud. I don't give a shit why he wants to do it. I don't care. But he's making a big push to ban Sharia law. And these dumb shits are attacking him because, oh, but Israel. It's stuff like that why Republicans can't win. But sorry, I go on.
Yeah, honestly, I support Randy Fine for re-election now.
Yeah, I don't care. Like, listen,
Just
if we get somebody just as good as him on most issues and better foreign policy, I'll support him. But find one person.
The problem is his challengers are all like Massie types.
Yeah, that's a problem. And you want to deal with that. If somebody would show us one candidate, like on immigration in particular, he's possibly the biggest immigration hawk in the House. You want to replace him? Foreign policy stuff, fine. He sucks on that. But man, I don't give a shit, honestly. Who cares? If he's good at everything else, just shut his mouth with foreign policy, he'll be fine. All right. President Gilbert getting up for 5. You know, if Paxton wins a primary, then Hunt should run for a second term, time to replace Ted Cruz's vacant seat, because then we'll have 2 good senators. I agree with that, actually. K-Cup for 5.
We're saying if Wesley Hunt wins.
Oh, if Ken Paxton wins.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be fine with Wesley Hunt. I'd be fine with like Brandon Gill.
Yeah. We're gonna get somebody good after Cruz retires. I know that, but K-Cup for 5. Hey, Rap, what's more BS? These influencers or the BS Giannis traits Shams has pushed? Also, what's worse? Doc Rivers politics or his coaching? Doc Rivers coaching is like, it's a war crime. But yeah, the Giannis stuff is bullshit.
I will say 2028. Don't be surprised if James Fishback decides to carpetbag over to Randy Fine's district and run against him.
We'll see. All right, we'll talk with the Colton Moore thing. And listen, I support Colton Moore. I 100% support America First. Insight does too.
Yeah, but we found out the reason why Trump didn't.
Yeah. MTG is no way a Massie. Massie is principled. MTG is politics. Now, explain what this means, Real Texan. Just explain what he's talking about here.
He's praising Massie and MTG. That's basically what it is.
Yep. And this was right after Trump attacked MTG publicly. Listen, I support Colton Moore. Like, I still do. I think Trump's endorsement was a mistake. But I can understand why Trump's been hesitant to support Colton Moore. He does not want another MTG type. He does not want another Thomas Massie type. That's the issue. These dumbasses don't understand that. They don't work with Trump. Gee, I wonder why Trump's hesitant to support Colton Moore. And I think it's stupid. But the reasoning at least makes sense to a certain point. I still think Colton Moore is way better than who did he endorse? What's his freaking name?
Fuller, I think.
Yeah. American Nerd for 2. What if Brandon Herrera replaced Cruz? Congressman Herrera? Yeah, I wouldn't be against that. Which, by the way, he's gonna beat Gonzalez.
I kind of disagree, to be honest.
You think so? Really?
Money.
Okay. Eli for 65. A bit on the right wing, gay side of X and man, talk about our strongest soldiers. These GOP staffers are great. They came up with the Kamalas for them, ad lol. Really? I did not know that. Right wing gay side of Twitter. You know, every time I think of that, I just think of, you know who I think about right away? Milo. Listen, like, we're not going to talk with a Milo and like Elijah Schafter thing because that's just fucking wild. But my question: how does Milo, like, of all people, how does he know everything like that? How the hell does he just figure out, like, oh yeah, I got like tips everywhere, like I know everything about everybody? It's kind of scary, not gonna lie, but it's like, dude, anytime somebody says something bad, he has receipts. So, but yeah. America First site is a must follow. I agree. Yeah, Tomato, you're right. America First Insight needs to be a mandatory follow for everyone. Legit the best account online that disarms the doomer and grifter arguments with facts and logic. Yeah, I agree. I'm totally not biased. Real text, do you support this endorsement of America First Insight?
Do, sir.
What?
Of course I do, sir.
All right, good. Chance Razik for 5. Look at the campaign website that Trump kept most of his promises. Takes time for some of the others. The narrative is ridiculous. Oh, trust me. I've been working on something the last couple of weeks. Just not gonna say anything about it, but I I think these like the David Gilio types, they're gonna shit bricks when they see what I got ready. We'll just wait and see on that. But yeah. Milo's a fucking weirdo, but he's entertaining as fuck. Yeah, I don't know where he gets the information from. I have no clue. I don't want to know, honestly. I don't want to know how he gets this shit. Just out of nowhere, an anonymous source is just freaking it's right about everything. I don't know. But yeah. Thomas Massie is an intelligent asset. I don't think he is, but it's kind of sketchy. Some people have been looking into him. It's becoming kind of sketchy. Like who's backing him now? Like GSA members, Rory Gates, which is Bill Gates' son, I think. Yeah, the Gates family's backing him or whatever. So it's kind of sketchy. He's a known gossiper, and he'll know who's doing what. That's true. But still, just anytime something happens, he just has the information on anybody. You can be a random anonymous account, and like he knows, just knows everything. All right. Did Tony even announce his re-election bid in Texas? Yes, he did. He even got Trump's endorsement, which is sad, but yeah. All right. Chance is raising for 5. Mark Mitchell's a good guy. I like him, but he needs to put down the black pills. Also, Massey took campaign money from someone linked to Epstein too. Yeah, that people are looking at Massey a little bit. Some of this fundraising stuff. It's very sketchy. Who's backing him now? Again, I'm not saying he's involved with anything, but it's just kind of weird. Kind of weird. All right. Kind of a shorter stream. I just kind of wanted to go on a tangent today about the whole like influencer stuff. Again, do your own research. Do your own research about stuff. When Trump does something bad, call it out. But don't do the shit of guys. Biden was better because he kept his promises. Like, did really? When can we expect Harris's announcement? Oh, she did make the announcement. I think, right?
Yeah, it was a relaunch of her HQ. They call it Headquarters 6-7.
Yeah, let me just pull this up. Yeah, the HQ fades back and it's Headquarters 6-7. And doesn't she say 6-7 in the video?
I didn't watch it. She probably did, but this is probably the lead up to a presidential run.
She's running for president again. Wow. You know, listen, I'm telling you this right now. Go ahead. You want to give Republicans a free gift? Let Harris run her shit. Go right ahead. Because you know what's going to happen? You're going to remind a lot of people why they voted Trump in the first place in 24. You're going to remind people of shit like this. Headquarters 6-7. Yeah, I'm sure that's going to appeal to the freaking. You want to kill a meme, which is already dead? This is how you do it. K-Cop for 5. Apparently, Wisconsin Democrats are holding a Zoom presser to attack Trump and ICE. Also, Tiffany as well. And convince Democrats in Wisconsin don't actually do anything. They don't. Well, they're kind of paranoid because Tiffany's going to probably win. So, which is good. But Tiffany's going to probably win. And I'm glad that he's going to probably hopefully win. Hopefully. Is Kamala running a brain rot? Yes. But people understand, like, this is our opposition. This is what we got to deal with. We don't lose we like Democrats don't win elections. We lose them. That's what happens every time. All right. I still look at the 6-7 joke. It's just a stupid thing. It was like somebody like yelled 6-7 or something. It's dumb. Okay. Now we have David Gilio claiming that Congress is going to pass amnesty. Oh, God. Guys, this is what I'm talking about. This shit right here. Can we not for 5 seconds? Trump's gonna force through amnesty through Congress. Are you shitting me right now? Guys, listen. I am not happy with Trump's immigration stuff. I'm the first one to tell you that I want more deportations. But this is getting insane. First of all, no, they have not only focused on 11,000 people. Stop it. That's just the ones we caught as of now, which is what, 10% of the people we've deported? Self-deportation is like 2 million people. They're not going to pass, Trump's not going to pass amnesty for the 50th freaking time. You keep saying this over and over again. Trump's going to pass amnesty. Trump's going to pass amnesty. No, he's not.
Let's cut the crap. He won't pass amnesty.
No, he's going to because freaking he says some weird stuff in an interview. He says this every other week. Remember? Oh, we're going to stop the work site raids. And 5 minutes later, they do the biggest work site raid in history. It just happens every time. I'm getting so sick of this shit. My gosh. What did Trump need Congress to pass amnesty? Well, he's claiming, I'm not even joking, these idiots are going around and claiming that there's a secret deal with like a rich billionaire or something. They're going to pass amnesty. I'm not even joking. Let me pull this up. Let me pull this up. One of these idiots said it. I got to find it. This is who we're dealing with here. K-Cup for 2. I hope this shit ends with Vance runs in 2028. Remember, these people don't want Vance to run. Yeah, right here. This is what Rich Bear said. He's claiming this shit now. Guys, Trump is actually gonna pass amnesty now. 2 days ago, he met with a close donor friend who pushed a massive immigration reform that most definitely included amnesty, and he said he would like to do it. Guys, listen, do your own research. You can follow whoever you want to follow, but this is just getting insane. Now Trump's having these secret backdoor meetings nobody ever heard about. They're going to pass amnesty. They're going to stop deportations. Really? You're going to tell me with a straight face that Trump got all that money for DHS and ICE just to stop deporting people and to pass amnesty? What are we doing here? Like, it's just insane. President Gilbert getting up for 5. Harris running again. Come on, guys. It's Brat season again. Harris is Brat. Massey's Brat. Brat season is back in season. French flag. Real. But my gosh, can we stop with this crap? You've been saying this for a year and a half now. Every single week, amnesty's happening. Amnesty's happening. Anytime something happens in the House, Trump shoots it down and says, no, I'm not going to do it. It's crazy. Stop talking about these people. Well, the problem is, like, they get millions of people to listen to their shit. That's the issue. And you have to cover it because guess what? People are now convinced amnesty is about to happen. At some point, enough's enough. Like, they're lying about stuff, obviously. They're clearly lying about shit. They're making stuff up. It's just crazy. So, yeah, again, guys, do your own research. When Trump does something bad, call it out. Don't just listen to one bullshit influencer. Don't listen, even me. Do your own research or fact check if I made a mistake on something and correct me on it. Don't just blindly follow somebody off a cliff because they're influencer and they built your respect 5 years ago. No, don't do that. It's just going off a cliff with these people. And you can't say anything because if you do, they say you're a shill or you're a clapping seal. You say one thing, you're a shill. Yeah, so that's about it. Real text, any last thoughts on anything?
Should you talk about the Texas poll?
We talked about that. Corden's in third place still, so but the margin of error for everybody. So anybody's game. I do think Corden's gonna probably lose, I'm guessing. Probably. We'll see. All right. I think that's kind of it. Oh, hold up. Mamdani is planning to endorse Hochul. I was expecting that actually. Not a surprise by that. Oh my gosh. No way. Yeah, it looks like they're going to endorse Hochul, which I'm not really surprised about. Yeah, we got some breaking news, everybody. MTG is now shilling for Hillary Clinton. Well, look at that. Transparency is everything and much needed right now. She said this in response to Hillary Clinton making shit up and having her tweets like privated and stuff. Are any of these influencers going to call out MTG for this? Are a single one of them going to say anything about this? No? I'm sure like these influencers are going to surely be on top of this. Yes, this is just nuts. And let me pull up the original tweet. What Clinton was claiming. Right here. For 6 months, we engaged Republicans in the Oversight Committee in good faith. We told them what we know under oath. They ignored all of it, blah, blah, blah. She's just lying. Let's stop playing the games. You want this fight, James Comer, let's have it in public. You love to talk about transparency. There's nothing more transparent than a public hearing. They've been trying to get you in public for fucking a year now. For a year straight. And this dumb shit MTG is protecting and siding with Hillary Clinton. Just unfucking believable. This is who the right loves, by the way. How can anyone like defend this? Yeah, Hillary's speaking about Epstein. Yeah, I'm sure. Guys, now they're playing this game because they'll be held in contempt of Congress. That's what's going to happen. They invited them many times. They communicated this. And dumb shits like MTG and others are going to run around and just, wow. Wow, wow, wow. What was a weird interview? Just go look up what Trump said during the NBC interview. He said something about the not going to Democrat states, but he was talking with the National Guard, and people took it out of context and other stuff as well. So, American Nerd for 2. Hillary lost her mind after 2016. I don't think she ever had a mind, but she was always out there. But yeah, the 2016 broke her completely. She thought she was going to be the president. She thought she was going to win in a landslide. Yeah. How did that go? How did that go? My gosh. We live in hell, by the way, because I guarantee you everybody's shilling for her are Democrats. I guarantee you that's what's happening here. Yep, they're all Democrats. Every single once a Democrat has a Ukraine flag. Really? It's bullshit. Blue sky, just wow. This is a downfall of MTG, everybody. Rowdy for 3. Is Mamdani Epstein's son? I don't think so. I saw that clip. I don't think it's real. I don't think that thing's real. He's not actually the son of Epstein. Be kind of funny, but he's not. Yeah, it's bad. We're at a point now where MTG is shilling for Hillary Clinton, but Yeah. These are the plants all along. Yeah. You think the hold on, what? Conservative divorced women are untrustworthy as hell. Oh, gosh. Yeah, I don't know. Just the whole MTG thing's crazy. But all these influencers, the really egregious ones, they all have connections with MTG or Thomas Massey. Every single one of them. All right, I think that's it, everybody. Um, we're gonna end the stream here. If you guys did enjoy today's stream, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, and of course, join the channel today. We'll see you guys next streamer video wherever you see us at.